involved in listening, understanding, and discussing about the theme of today's webinar in a fruitful manner. Thank you. Before we kickstart this webinar, on behalf of Consumer Club of Anandar College, Karmathur, I would like to express a hearty welcome to our principal, Reverend Father Godwin Rufus. It delights me immensely to extend my sincere welcome to our resource person, Dr.Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi. I must mention that he was more than generous to spend his valuable time with us. Welcome to this webinar, sir.
Thank you.
I am very glad that we have participants joining across India and abroad as well. I give my immense joy to radiate a warm welcome to all the participants of this webinar. Thank you. Now I am happy to invite our principal, Reverend Father Godwin Rufus, to felicitate our success of webinar.
Dear learned professors, beloved students, and lovers of intelligence, knowledge, and wisdom, I wish you all a very happy and fruitful and fantastic day. Once in a hurry, I got into the state transport bus. Taking a 500 rupee note from my wallet, I asked for a ticket to Trinelveli from Tirumala. The conductor looked at me angrily and said, "Sir, the fare is just 105 rupees. Please give change." I searched over my purse and my pockets, but I could not find any change. And I said, "Sir, I have no change." The conductor, with a sharp grin on his face, said, "No change? No fit for traveling. Get out, find change, and get into my bus." He blew the whistle, and I had to get down with a shrunken and despised face in front of all. Though it was an irritating experience, the words of the conductor in his broken English really left an indelible impression in my mind and heart. No change, no fit for travel. No change, you cannot travel in this country. You cannot travel in this universe. Yes, my dear scholarly friends, change is something that is very essential in human life. One has to know when and how to change and when and why not to change. When I was a little boy who grew up with my 4 more brothers, I had no option to buy until I happened to do my studies staying in a hostel. My mom, my very dear mom, decided everything when I was at home. But when I did my college studies, I stayed in a hostel. I thought I was deciding, but only a little later on, I became aware that my friends chose, and therefore I chose. My superstar actors wore it, and therefore I wore it. And my cricket stars and champions drank it, and so I drank it. Somebody in me and over me were or was still deciding for me, and perhaps is still deciding for me. I ask a few questions to myself. Why do I forsake the petty shops around Trichy Tappakulam or Periyar bus stand at Madurai, but to get into fine and fantastic multi-story departmental stores for getting things that I wear, food that I eat, and materials that I gulp? Have I ever thought of when 1,000 people decide like me to abandon the petty shops and fall a prey to the multi-story departmental stores? Am I not hand in glove making the rich richer and the poor poorer? What will happen to the children and the families of those petty shop so-called owners if all of us abandon those goods that they sell? Little minds discuss people. Average minds discuss events. But great minds discuss ideas. COVID-19 has put all of us in panic and pandemonium. The rhythm of life seems to be lost. Perhaps many of us who have not had the privilege of long holidays, that too squatting and roaming inside 4 walls with the same old faces again and again to be watched and admired. Certainly, things would have been boring at times and irritating many a time. As somebody who had thought about it some time ago beautifully says, when life puts you in tough situations, don't ask, why me? But say, try me. Not why me, but try me. That is wisdom. It is very easy to complain about darkness, but very tough to light a candle. In the context of COVID-19, many such questions arrive and bubble in our mind, seeking for an answer. When all of us are asked to stay inside and never to set foot outside, when fear psychosis is all spread, when most of our beloved shops are closed, when we don't like to eat the ration stuff that are given by the government, certainly people like you and me will ask ourselves what to buy, what to eat, what to wear, how long shall this go on? Will it continue for months, if not for years? Will we also become like China or Russia, where we won't have a say in what we wear, or what we eat, or what we study, or what we buy? Many more questions and thoughts arise. I'm sure many thoughts arise. At this juncture, a question will arise in many of our minds. Will there be a person to travel with us during this time of pandemic? The Consumer Club of Anandar College, Karmathur, Madurai district has come forward to organize a great grand international webinar, and they have chosen the right and the best man, an international scholar, a think tank, a person who can resonate with us, a person who can read the signs of the times and walk with the poorest of the poor and the marginalized, a person who could be the voice of the voiceless. That is none other than our beloved resource person of the day, Dr.Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi. I'm sure you'll be glued to his inspiring talk, and by the end of his talk, you'll know a great lot to be a responsible citizen, not of India alone, but of the universe itself. As the new principal of Anandar College, Karmathur, I thank Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi for magnanimously accepting to deliver a talk for the citizens of the world through this webinar. And I thank Dr. Kala and Dr. Jennifer and all others of the Consumer Club of Anandar College, Karmathur, for making such an arena for infotaining and exploring and doing things. That all that we do be for the greater glory of God and his people. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Father. Now I call upon Dr. Jennifer to introduce Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi, the resource person of the day.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great honor for me to introduce the resource person, Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi. He is a sustainable development expert with over 30 years of experience in United Nations Industrial Development Organization at Vienna in Austria, where he served in various capacities and eventually retired as the principal advisor to the Director General of UNIDO. At present, he is the principal advisor of Knowledge Management Associates in Austria. He has to his credit several degrees with distinctions. He has authored several journal articles, books, and reports highlighting the changing patterns of sustainable development with a focus on economic efficiency, ecological compliance, and social inclusion. His recent books include Myths and Realities of East Asian Model of Development, India's Strength, Rethinking Development Realities, Intervening to Industrialize, and The Poverty of Economic Thinking. A book on his personal life penned by him is titled In Joy and Sorrow. His forthcoming book is titled Ethics in Politics, Then and Now. He won several awards: Gold Medal from St. Joseph College for being the best outgoing student, UNIDO DG Award for Outstanding Performance, Lifetime Achievement Award by various organizations, Dynamic Indian of the Millennium by KG, and the Professional Excellence Award by the Auckland-based Indo-New Zealand Business Association in 2018. He is ready to spend his precious time with us in spite of his busy schedule. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi. Please take over the session, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Respected Principal, Reverend Father Godwin Rufus, Reverend Fathers, learned members of the teaching faculty, and dear participants. I am extremely grateful to the management of Arul Anandar College for giving me this unique opportunity. I have consumed sufficient quantity of Jesuit salt. I could reach the zenith of my professional glory in the United Nations because of all that I learned from St. Xavier's College and St. Joseph's College. No exaggeration. I always await an opportunity to reciprocate it, at least in a small measure. So whenever I get an invitation from any Jesuit institution, I spontaneously express my cheerful readiness to say a big yes. I met Father Godwin Rufus in Trichy several months ago, and I was totally impressed. If I had developed 10% of his oratorical capacity, I would have really rocked the United Nations. Again, no exaggeration. Father, your wisdom is a great blessing to the institution. Your explicit smile is a great source of delight for your colleagues and students. And your attitude towards right and wrong is a model for personal and professional excellence. Let me now go to my presentation. Please hold on. Meeting so I'm sorry. Someone wants to know whether he has to provide me with another bottle of water here. Now, let me just go to the presentation now. I really appreciate the organizers for choosing this topic because whenever people invite me to talk about COVID, they always want me to talk about the impact on global economy, impact on Indian economy, or impact on different sectors. But this time, it is for a different purpose. The plight of consumers in the wake of COVID-19. I know that you are all suffering from information overload. Every day we watch many things about COVID-19, we learn many things, and we have enough information. So I used to reflect on the topic, and I said, what is that is new I am going to say? Let me try my best to say something new, and I hope my best will be good enough. Now, people normally talk about only the dark side of COVID-19, all the time something very negative, they never make optimistic claims about, so from each bad thing, there is always something good. People seldom realize it. And each challenge is an opportunity in life. This is what the history taught us. And our personal and professional response to convert challenges into opportunities and opportunities into sustainable sources of wealth creation is a discovery process. Every time we discovered. During the Great Depression of 1930s, we discovered through pump priming policy. During the first oil shock, we discovered how to enhance energy efficiency and survive. And every time we discovered during the East Asian financial crisis and the recent series of financial crises, we discovered and came out very well. And this time also we will definitely discover the way forward, and we will pave the way for the new normal. Definitely this is going to happen. So let me just make some optimistic claims about some positive things that are happening during the COVID-19. First, there is evidence of consumer surplus. Let me explain it in very simple terms. Consumer surplus is a psychological surplus you get in your mind. And when you are told that the price of a product is less than what you expected. For example, I go to a shop, look at a product, I gain the feeling that the price of the product may be 100 rupees. So when I ask the seller, what is the price of the product? He tells me the price is only 70 rupees. So there's a psychological surplus in my mind to the tune of 30 rupees. This is called consumer surplus. That is actually happening. The so-called consumer surplus is happening in the minds of people. Let me just narrate the first one. Essentials at no cost to consumers. Fortunately, our public distribution system is functioning very efficiently, and people are getting free rice, free dal, free oil, free sugar, and etc. etc. Now everything is free. Now people may think, is it charity? It is not charity, actually. It is an act of human justice. In fact, this adds to what is called practical meaning to the universal basic income. Even developed countries are implementing the universal basic income concept now. Universal basic income means every month you make unconditional transfer of some money to the poorest of the poor so that they can subsist, they can survive, they can buy the most essential things. And this is called universal basic income. Many developed countries are very successfully implementing it, and even in Arab countries, they are implementing it. So it is working very well. So many are questioning this. It is charity. If you give it on a permanent basis, it will ruin people. Not necessarily. You are just providing the people the minimum required to subsist. So the so-called distribution of essentials at no cost to the poor, not only to the people who are living below the poverty line, but also the card holders. All ration card holders are getting it, benefiting it. There is no harm in doing it. And they say this will continue until November. I am sure it will go beyond that. Then increased supply response and falling prices of masks and other sanitary items. This is happening. I remember 3.5 months ago, when the whole thing started, when the epidemic started, I wanted to buy a mask. I wanted to buy the best mask. I went to a shop and I paid 300 rupees per unit. And they told me that this would be valid for 35 days. And now, when the producers saw the growing demand, dramatic increase in the demand for this product, and there is a proliferation of producers producing different varieties of masks. If you go to Ramraj store, for 200 rupees, you get 5 units. Each one can be used for 35 days. Sanitized one. And the prices are falling like anything. Again, from this, you get a lot of consumer surplus. So there is clear evidence of consumer surplus because of free distribution and increased supply response from producers to meet the needs of the people. This is what we experience. And let me just go to the next one. Is the consumer in crisis? Yes, consumer is definitely in crisis. He is deeply concerned about the impact of COVID. Things are in a befogged state of affairs. In the absence of curative means and preventive and curative means, no one knows what is going to happen, how long this will exist. This can be prolonged for years. And I hate the phrase post-COVID. There may not be post-COVID at all. We may be conditioned to live with COVID. It is like, moving from Stone Age to Iron Age to Carbon Age to Green Age, and now it is called COVID age. So we have to change our pattern of living, style of living in such a way that is compatible with the COVID syndrome. You take care of yourself with the priority accent on your personal hygiene and public hygiene, and try to survive. This is a syndrome in which we are living as things stand today. So the consumers are really deeply, deeply concerned about it. Try to be content with limited purchases. This is another good thing. People no longer go for extravagant spending. They are content with, they are satisfied the minimum required for survival. They are keeping it to the minimum purchases, and that is triggering a dramatic change in the behavior. That is triggering behavioral changes and purchasing pattern. Then trying to adapt to the new normal. We talk a great deal about new normal. This means the type of life we were living so far, hitherto, was not normal. We were living abnormal life. As someone said, the epidemic stemmed not from nature, but from our misbehavior with nature. We misbehaved with nature. That's why now we are trying to go away from the abnormal life and we are trying to live in harmony with nature, and we are moving towards the new normal. And people are, one good thing is it appears that people are getting themselves easily acclimatized to the new environment. There is a high degree of adaptability that is worthy of appreciation. Then contemplate what this crisis means for them in the long run. Of course, in the long run, we are dead. In the long run, we are dead. But in the very long run, what will happen to their own children and the grandchildren? People are deeply, deeply concerned about it. So this definitely influences the spending pattern. Many felt anxious in the beginning and worried about the availability of goods and services, and there was panic buying in the beginning, thinking that all the shops will be closed, all the factories will be closed, and everything will be in standstill, and things may not be available. I will just show you. I saw it with my own eyes. Fortunately, it is the YouTube. When the whole thing started, I was in Sydney. In Sydney, in the supermarket, 3 ladies were fighting for toilet paper. 3.5 months ago. I really want to show that for a minute. It is a bit awkward, but in the fitness of things, I have to play that one. I will just get into YouTube. Please bear with me. I just type fighting for toilet paper. It was in Sydney. Okay. Yes, I got it. It happened in Sydney. I think we had enough of it. No, it is, we are not able to even stand it. This really happened just for toilet paper, and the supermarket imposed rationing. They said each customer is entitled for only one carton of toilet paper comprising maybe 12 units. And these ladies were fighting. One lady picked up one more carton, so another lady was trying to grab that, and that was a fighting. This, fortunately, we actually moved away from this panic buying. That is not happening now. That's a good thing. There is a change in the pattern. That's why I just played that to this one. We don't see this type of fight in the supermarkets now. People are content. People are totally convinced that whatever happens, things will go on, business as usual. That's a good change. That's a good change. There is no more panic buying anywhere. Okay, let me go to the next one. I'm sorry. Yes, why it is not moving? Yes, I got it. Now, our priority focus is now on health. Health is primary and everything else is secondary. Our topmost priority is given everywhere. It is given. We could see that it is very visible. It's a good sign. It's a very good sign. In fact, the COVID-19 is actually adding to the so-called the clean India movement. People want to keep everything clean. In front of my house, there is a PWD and a bungalow. My people are using it as a dumping ground, and now they stopped putting all these things. It is clean now. I'm very happy that this is happening now. Then people are shifting from conspicuous consumption to conscious consumption. Conspicuous consumption means you go to the shopping mall to demonstrate your wealth. You buy a luxury car just to demonstrate your wealth to others. And you buy very expensive things. You always think that, particularly rich people think that highly priced products are actually of very high quality. That is conspicuous consumption. And people are now moving away from conspicuous consumption to conscious consumption. Then preference for local. This is happening. You know, the mania for buying branded goods is fading away now. It's very clear. It's a good sign. It's a really good sign. A well-known company with a very good branding name can sell a product at exorbitant rate. And the same product produced by an ordinary tailor may be available at incredibly low price. Now people prefer local to the branded products. This is a very good sign happening. Then aware of the fact that shopping, 1 minute, I think the figures are actually eclipsing this one. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me go to, yeah, this is nothing but, okay. The people are aware of the fact that the change in the pattern of consumption and their pattern of buying will change dramatically, and they are getting used to that. Then increasing reliance on technology for buying, consumer buying. This we see in every time, using the cell phone or using the digital, but the technology is something terrible, the incidence of technical progress is making deep inroads into everything. We started with the steam power, mechanical power, then computers and electronics, and now we talk about the disruptive technologies. Disruptive technologies are making the old things stumble, and everything is completely changed. Whenever a new technology is introduced, we try to resist. When computers were introduced for the first time in Kerala, including the ruling party, the communist, which was ruling the state, organized a big agitation against the introduction of computers, thinking that it would replace typists from job. That means a typist will be unemployed. That was they thought computer was a substitute for typewriter. That was total. We were demonstrating our ignorance. And look at the millions of jobs created by computer-related activities. And now today, Kerala is encompassing 4 state-of-the-art technoparks in Kerala. So whenever there is a new technology introduced, we try to resist, and we don't realize that it facilitates our life. Now we talk about the disruptive technologies. Disruptive technology is taking us to a state which is called creative destruction. We are all exposed to creative destruction. And I can name so many disruptive technology: advanced digital production system, artificial intelligence, additive manufacturing, then augmented reality, big data management, then cloud computing, electromobility, Internet of Things, Internet of Services, Internet of Energy, everything. These are all disruptive technology. They are all going to be effectively used for buying goods and services, and they are going to play a major role in changing the pattern of buying and the pattern of spending. Then, impact of COVID from the impact of working from home on consumption. Now, 80% of the staff members in many companies are today working from home, which is good. So what is happening to the buying pattern? What is happening to the demand pattern from these people? Now, this is proved that there is dramatic increase in the demand for casual wear, casual goods. So when you just participate, when you work from home, you don't have to put on your 3-piece full suit, tie and everything. And you can be in your pyjama and do the work. Very easily you can do the work. And those who are teaching online, those who are engaged in online teaching, they don't have to put on. I will just show you a video clipping. A Kerala lady was putting an ordinary cloth, maybe a lungi, maybe it's a small sari, on her, and pretending as if she was wearing a full sari. And in fact, she was wearing only salwar kameez. And suddenly she realized that she forgot to turn the stove off, and the milk was already boiling. So she abandoned the classroom and ran away. Please look at this. I will show it to you now. I play the video.
Good morning, students. ഇന്നത്തെ ഓൺലൈൻ ക്ലാസ് ആരംഭിക്കുകയാണ്. പാഠം 1. വിദ്യാധനം. വിത്തമെന്തിനും മർത്യനിന്ന വിദ്യ കൈവശമാകുകിൽ വെണ്ണ വെണ്ണ എന്റെ പാല് തിളച്ചു പോയി.
You saw that. The way she was sitting, first suggested that she was wearing a sari and she was formally dressed. No, she was very informally dressed, casually dressed. So even with a lungi, putting a lungi around your neck, you can give the impression that you are formally dressed. So the demand for formal dress is formal clothes and garments is decreasing. This is increasing demand for home gym, home theaters, home garden, mini home office equipment. This is very, very important. You know, people will not, at least for some years, 1 or 2 years, I don't think they will go to a film theater to sit and watch any film. I don't think. Even if you go there, it's very inconvenient in many theaters. You have to sit there with all your power of contraction for 3 hours. Boring, totally boring. And what you see on the screen may not be worth seeing, watching. So people prefer home theaters. Normally, to establish a home theater in your house, you have to spend around 12 lakhs. Now there are so many players responding to the growing demand for this. Now you can easily install a home theater for 5 lakhs, even for 3 lakhs, depending on the size of the room. And if it is available on easy installment, I am sure even people who are below, not below the poverty line, with the lower middle income people will also try to opt for it. And many films are now released through Amazon. I think already 2 Tamil films have been released through Amazon. So this is the new thing happening. So we want, though you have to pretend beyond the means in installing a home theater, you want to do that because you want to take care of your health. You don't want to get it from others. The COVID-19, if you expose yourself to a big crowd in a theater, it's quite possible that you become very vulnerable. So you try to, then home gym, it is very easy. It's not very expensive. Even for 25,000 rupees, you can very easily do. I am sure all college lecturers can easily do it if it is available for installment basis. And home garden, you may think you have to do the home garden. There are many companies, they will come and just convert your terrace into a fantastic garden to grow fruits and vegetables. You can have it. Organic fruits and vegetables based on biodynamic agricultural practices. You can do that. So, and home office equipment, you have a small office at home and it's only needs few things to equip it as a full-fledged office. The demand for these things are increasing like anything. So in fact, what is happening is the famous Sayers law is working here. Demand, normally what we say, when the price goes up, the demand will fall, and when the price goes down, the demand. Now, one famous economist he said, supply sometimes creates demand. In all these products, the supply creates demand. When there's a supply of reasonably priced home theater, reasonably priced home gym, home garden, you tend to buy that. So supply creates demand here. So just opposite is happening. So the whole pattern, the prevailing thing is actually changing the pattern of consumption and the pattern of demand, and it is even defeating the tenets of the demand theory, I would say. Increasing demand for efficient door delivery. That is happening, we are experiencing. People think that's very safe. You just call the company and order it online. It is delivered at your home at incredibly low price. And people are getting used to that very well. Now, let me now reflect on the possible shapes of recovery and what will happen to the pattern of consumption. There are 3 types of recovery possible. One is V-shaped, another one is U-shaped, another one is W-shaped. V-shaped recovery means very soon the COVID curve will be flattened and things will be back to normal, business as usual, and there will be a steep rise in output, employment, etc., 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 and everything will be back to normal. So all the theaters will be working, and we will go to the theaters, and we will go to the shopping malls. Everything will be normal, not the new normal, back to the old normal. Okay, this is not going to happen. There is no sign of the so-called V-shaped recovery. It cannot happen now as things stand today. Even about global economic prospect, there are very, very, very new, very unrealistic predictions about it, and things do not suggest something for us. So V-shaped recovery may not happen in the near future. U-shaped recovery means reluctant recovery. Over the next 3 or 4 quarters, slowly the economy may recover. from recession to recovery. That means it will take at least 9 months to recover, U-shape. But during the U-shape, the challenge is to manage the transition. Manage the transition from depression, from recession to recovery. It takes time. So slowly we will be getting used to that one. Then it will also influence the consumption pattern and demand pattern, everything. Then W-shaped recovery means, there will be intermittent recurrence of COVID-19, and there will be intermittent recession, depression, recovery, and boom. So this will happen. So economy may go down, slowly recover, again it may go down. When recurrence is possible, the intermittent recurrence of COVID-19 is possible, we all will be exposed to the W-shaped recovery, and it is quite possible the so-called panic buying may resurface. This is quite surface again. This is quite possible. So we have to be prepared for this. Then, now, I have coined 3 R's from the consumer perspective, 3 L's from the producer's perspective, and 3 C's again from the producer perspective. It would be very convenient for me if Mr. Sagar, Madam Rajeshwari, and Madam Tamil Arasi, if you could mute your video, this will be very convenient for me to look at my PowerPoint presentation. Is it possible? Mr. Sagar, Madam Rajeshwari, and Madam Tamil Arasi, can you mute your video? Yeah, no, you are not listening. I am requesting, yeah. Madam Rajeshwari, can you mute your video? Can you mute your video? And Madam Tamil Arasi, because it is eclipsing my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Tamil Arasi, can you mute your video? Madam Tamil Arasi, can you mute your video? No, she's not. No, she's not responding. Okay. So from the yes, correct. Now you can see and I can also see. So from the consumer perspective, 3 R's: respond, reset, renew. We are definitely responding to the changes. We are not keeping quiet. We are definitely respond to the change in order to ensure minimum quality of life for us, minimum standard of life. And we are resetting the pattern of consumption with our pattern of style of living. Everything is reset. And we renew that. To sustain along with the COVID. Because COVID is being sustained, we are renewing it to sustain the changing, reset mode of living. From the producer's perspective, link, leverage, and learn. They are definitely linking with the customers. The producer cannot sell unless he produces something which is preferred by the customers. He is establishing the link. He is leveraging with the consumers. When the price of mask is falling, any rational producer will plunge into a process which enables him to produce very high quality mask at incredibly low price. Otherwise, he cannot survive. In an internationally competitive environment, it is not the question of the survival of the biggest or smallest, but the fastest. Only those who keep pace with the rapidly changing facets of processing, design, and marketing will survive. Others will fall apart. And he is learning. Learning from whom? Learning mostly from consumers. That's why we say consumer is the king. Consumer is dictating terms. Normally, when I produce a product, I want to learn from my competitor. I want to learn from my comparators. I want to learn from the distributors. I want to learn from the shop owners. Then I want to learn from the customers, eventually from the customers. But today, producers are really interested in learning directly from the consumers. So consumers dictate in a way. Consumer continues to be the king. So then again, producers follow 3 C's, otherwise they cannot serve. They connect themselves with new and dynamic sources of growth in order to produce products complying with, that's why I put complying with international standards and quality control norms, and thereby compete successfully in an internationally competitive environment. These are all triggered by all these 3 L's and 3 C's to be followed by the producers are triggered by the consumer's behavior, consumer's spending, consumer's pattern of living. Okay, next one. Consumers and 4 L's. Are life, livelihoods, lifestyle, and liberating with the virtual world. These are all the 4 L's. Now, let me just connect this to the chosen topic. Our topic is consumer and the plight of consumers. So what is happening to the consumer in saving lives? In saving lives, there are so many products being produced. Now, I just Googled small instruments for testing our blood pressure, sugar, and this and that. I discovered 120 products. I will show you one. This is called oximeter. Oximeter. I saw it. It's a small equipment. I just put my finger into this, press the button. It tells me the oxygen content of my blood within a minute, oxygen content of my blood and my pressure, pulse, the pulse rate. The oxygen content is actually now 97. It should be above 90. I think I am doing extremely well. And the pulse, it should be minimum 60. And when I started, actually, it was only 59. Now it is 70. So when I talk to you, my pulse rate is okay. I think I should get in touch with the Arul Anandar College staff and students on a regular basis. My pulse is okay, 71, 96 and 71. It's doing very well. This is a small equipment which can show this. Now, when you see an equipment like this, you are tempted to buy. That's why I said supply creates demand. The supply of this product is available. I cannot resist my temptation to buy. Like this, there are nearly, I Googled, I discovered 120 products. So many students are discovering, even school boys and girls are discovering new things. One guy discovered $10 laptop. Can you imagine? That can be used only for limited thing. Maybe another guy may discover, I think one guy discovered an impulse to be attached to this cell phone, which tells you whether there is sign of heart attack. So rush to the hospital. So these are all being done by students at the school level, at the college level. Students, unfortunately, these innovative students are not encouraged in terms of financial assistance and technical assistance to get their product registered and to get the patents registered and to commercialize that one. That is missing. That's why I always say that what is happening in India is institutionalized inactivity and in R&D and innovation. You have institutions, you have great scientists, great engineers, but research intensity is low, innovation intensity is low because of, in spite of large number of scientists, a big pool of scientists and engineers we have. Because we don't encourage the boys, innovative boys and students to come out, to reveal their potential in terms of getting the patents registered and commercializing it. So today, after this lecture, kindly Google products of this type, what I demonstrated, and there may be many more, livelihoods. And our challenge is to create sustainable sources of livelihood. People are thrown out of job. People are in the state of joblessness for months and months and months. How long this can go? It cannot go forever. And let's take the example of our migrant workers. Who are migrant workers? They are all going back to the areas of origin. They left the areas of origin and came here to work because there is no sustainable source of livelihood there in the areas of origin. So what should we do? When they go back to the areas of origin, you should ask them to indicate the priorities. According to my assessment, based on my experience in Sudan, I would say they will tell you, please give us a piece of land and ask NGOs and international organizations to help us to increase agricultural productivity and reduce post-harvest losses and get into semi-processing for further processing and further processing into final product. And this will be the demand. I tell you, I can put it in writing. If you go and ask the immigrant workers who have gone back to the areas of origin and ask them to list the priorities, they will say, we want to own a piece of land. That means to effective land reform policy, you have to actually provide them with a piece of land. Then help them. All the institutional assistance and business support services should be rendered as free goods to increase agricultural productivity and get into some type of semi-processing activity. If this is the trend that we have to follow, this is what these are all the means to be followed for creating sustainable sources of life for the vulnerable segments of the people. We have to focus on all these things so the demand for products related to increasing agricultural productivity, semi-processing activities for further processing into final products will dramatically increase. I am sure that will go up like anything. I hope the authorities really look into this from this perspective and meet the needs of the vulnerable segments of the population. Lifestyle, health conscious induced demand for goods and services. I don't have to convince you. We have definitely changed our lifestyle, and we are very careful. And because though the mortality rate is very low, though the people are getting good treatment. In fact, when the whole thing started, I called one of the ministers who is a good friend of mine, a very knowledgeable guy, a student of a Jesuit institution. He studied in XLRA, student of Father Kashmir Raj. And I told him, sir, based on Ebola disease, I want to give the following advice. West African countries could erase Ebola within 6 months by following one policy. They had only one isolation center at the national level. Okay, of course, African countries are small countries. We cannot have one isolation center for the whole country. So, but in each district, we can have one isolation center. I even told him that so many engineers remaining idle and they are being sold out. Nobody wants to buy. Nobody applies for admission to that. In environmentally palatable locations, in my own district, Kanyakumari district, near Pechupare, Perinjani, Tadikaram Konam, Takkalai, Villikuri, nice environment, in a nice, environmentally very friendly environment. Engineering colleges are for sale. I said, hire them or buy them. And please try to have only one isolation center at the district level and take all the victims of COVID-19 to that center. And that center should work like a 5-star hotel. Excellent facilities for the patients, much better facilities for the nurses and support staff, and much better facilities for the doctors who work there, because they are all there. Hostels are there. Hostels, everything can be converted into that. And people who go there and come back should come and tell, oh, it is worth going, something like that. They should be tempted to go again. It is possible. And this actually, African countries erased Ebola only through this means. I said, this is the only salvation so that the rest of the population is protected. He told me it's a wonderful idea. He would talk to the CM. I think he spoke with the DM. And as you can see, now they are hiring colleges and the school buildings remaining idle. They are very much at it. It seems they are very much at it. I'm very happy about it. Then liberating with the virtual world. Everything is going to happen in the virtual world. It is being told that, the colleges will disappear, schools will disappear, firms will disappear, and everything will be in the virtual world. If you have the enhanced adaptive capabilities and skills to produce a tiny product for a big product produced by a transnational corporation, you can participate in the global value chain. I know one guy living in Lagos. Lagos means, international reputation is very bad. Upon landing in Lagos, you get killed. This is the reputation. So in Lagos, one guy is producing rubber-based non-automotive component for aircraft. He is producing that one. I think someone is disturbing. Maybe he has to be instructed. Okay. So if you have the capability, enhanced adaptive capabilities and skills, you can really participate in the global.
Audio.
Someone should call him and instruct him not to use the cell phone. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then let us now go to the next one. The impact of conscious behavior, changing consciously. Now, I have classified it into sunset business activities and sunrise business activities based on the existing trends. Sunset business activities are travel. People will keep the travel to the minimum. That is happening. You will not travel unnecessarily. In my own case, of course, when Emirates takes off from Trivandrum, I will immediately leave for Vienna. It's quite possible that I will not accept any even assignment which involves travel. I may accept only home assignment. I don't want to die young. I really want to live long. So people are trying to keep the travel to the minimum. Tourism. Oh, in Kanyakumari, all the lodges are closed down, and including mine. We have a hotel here. I don't think we will get 1 rupee during this year. It may be extended next year also. Automobile. And there are different interpretations in automobile. Though these products are listed under sunset business activities, you should realize that when the sun sets in the evening, next day morning it rises. So it is quite possible today's sunset business activity may be a sunrise business activity tomorrow. Something strange is happening with regard to automobile. Since people don't want to travel in public transport, people try to own a car. And most of the families today own a car. Middle income people and high middle income people and rich people, they own a car. Now it's quite possible lower middle income people and poor people may prefer to have their own car. It's quite possible because they want to be safe. So the demand for cars may increase according to some economists, because, and particularly for second-hand cars which are available at incredibly low price, a 5-year-old or 4-year-old car covering maybe 30,000 kilometers, they are still in good condition. They are valid for next 10 years. People may, even poor people may prefer to own a car just to move around, and because they don't want to be exposed to a big crowd in the public transport. Cinema theaters is completely gone. Cinema theaters, I don't know. I pity the actors and actresses. I don't know where are we heading to. All the theaters remain closed. Even if we back to normal, I don't know whether people will go and watch the films. I know 2 producers whom I know recently produced their film was supposed to be released in March. Now because of the COVID, completely locked down. Logistics means travel logistics and anything related to this one, administration or anything. That is also declining. Public transportation, I have already. Restaurants, we know that. We seldom go to restaurants. Luxury products, no, they don't care about it, and they want to keep it to the minimum. They buy only most essentially. Live sports, completely gone. Empty stadium and players are still playing. Fortunately, using the technological marvels, they are showing it to the whole world. Real estate is down. But in real estate, there is a new trend happening. People seem to prefer individual independent houses, villas to apartments. And there is a lot of meaning in that. If there are 70 apartments on block, and you happen to be in the elevator can accommodate only 7 persons. Normally more than 10 will get into that. Then you have to stand there with all your power of contraction. Very disturbing. Then you become very vulnerable. So people prefer villas to apartments. Oil and gas is the demand is going down because people don't want to travel unnecessarily. Okay, construction industry is in big crisis, and retail business is thriving little bit, but online business will take over. Events and conferences completely gone. You cannot organize an event for more than 15%. So any type of event, good event or bad event, and big conferences. In fact, I got the ticket for attending a very big meeting on Africa organized by the Department for International Development Cooperation established by the government of Dubai. And I was one of the keynote speakers along with the First Lady of Nigeria. Everything was, I was supposed to fly from Sydney to Dubai, from Dubai, then I was supposed to come here. One day before the flight, they sent me a message because of the COVID, it's postponed, and it was supposed to be in the Dubai Trade Center, which can accommodate 6,000 participants. Now, Dubai has converted the entire trade center into an isolation, COVID isolation center, to accommodate 3,000 patients at a time. 3,000 patients from United Arab Emirates state. And you can Google that. It's amazing, amazing, with the ultra-modern state-of-the-art equipment. Amazing, amazing. The entire Dubai Trade Center is converted into this. Then sunrise businesses are digital products, structured knowledge. The structured knowledge means what I said about the migrant workers, how to deal with them, how to sequence our intervention. That is part of structured knowledge. Gig economy paying for. Gig economy means hereafter you will not get long-term contract. You get paid for your task. You are hired for a particular task, you perform it, and they pay you, then go home. That's all. Stock market investing. Some are very, very, very clever in investing in the promising product areas. This is done only by stock market experts on stock market. Home gardening is online coaching and teaching, and alternate energy. Alternate energy, something interesting is happening. I used to call alternate energy into WWWW. That means convert waste, water, wind into watts and watts into wealth. This is what I used to say, 5 Ws. And now, if you approach any panchayat or any municipality and tell them that you would like to convert the waste into watts, You want to generate renewable source of energy from the panchayat waste or municipal waste, and they will definitely give you a grant to do that. It's a very big business. You can mint money like anything. Alternate medicine. Alternate medicine is very, very important. Siddha Vaidyam and that Ayurvedic, they can do wonders, because the major thing they done by these medicines are they boost your immune system. And there's a big demand for all products that can enhance your immune system. The Murunga powder. Murunga powder contains, because of the high iron content and the vitamin C content, I tell you, if you take 1 teaspoon of Murunga powder every day, at the breakfast or lunch or and the dinner, I do it. During dinner, I take it. Next day, you will feel, you get your spirit rejuvenated. A friend of mine, Mr. Jayachandran, and another friend, Mr. Patterson, they are running big farms covering 400 acres, 300 acres, something like that, near Tirunelveli. They are selling this, they are exporting it. They are selling Murunga leaf, and they are selling Murunga powder made of Murunga leaf. And every time Mr. Jayachandran sends me at least 20 packets or 40 packets to my entire family. He's a great friend of mine. I think he's watching this one. And all my family members are using it. You just to use that, and it boosts your immune system like anything. Kindly follow that. So the demand for this alternative traditional medicine is really increasing. Gaming is increasing, healthcare. So I don't have to convince you. I don't want to read all these things. I just want to tell you. And the most important thing, the last point, the traditional values and systems, they are gaining importance now. People realize that our great-grandparents were more intelligent than us. And we want to go back to that, and we want to replicate their practice to live long. Okay. And now, changing pattern of consumer. This is most important. This is summary. In 3 minutes, I will finalize everything. Most consumers think that online buying is a safer option. This is based on survey conducted by leading consulting companies, including Deloitte. You know that they are all the top class consulting firms. They do it, and their findings are akin to reality. They are really akin to reality. That's why I collected these points from their surveys. Most of them think that online buying is safer. This is the new pattern of consumption. Many spend more on everyday household than to collect things and stock it at home. They want to buy it on daily basis. Consumers no longer rush to buy home stock at the toilet paper business. You know that. There is no panic buying now. People are buying it in a relaxed way. Many prefer locally produced one to branded ones. In Nagarkovil, most of the bakeries, they don't bake. They don't run factories to bake. They are subcontracting the production of laddu, Mysore Paga, Alva, Karupukatti Alva, and all these things to small households. So this is one type of neo-industrious revolution. Before the evolution of the industrial revolution, it was the household sector which responded to the growing demand for goods and services. There was no factory. There was no workshop. So, but the demand for goods and services were growing before the evolution of the first industrial revolution. So the household sector responded. And today, there's some type of neo-industrious revolution is happening. The household sector is capable of participating in the global value chain. So all that you need for a shop can be subcontracted to the households. But of course, these households also should get technical assistance and business support services to turn out products complying with the quality control norms and continuous improvement. Otherwise, they cannot survive. So this is a very encouraging trend happening. Then many want to keep traveling in public transport. This I explained. Changing pattern of consumer spending defeats the tenets of demand theory. Here, kindly permit me to spend 2 minutes. I am an economist, so I will try to explain it with a high degree of brevity and crystal clear clarity. We talk about demand theory. In demand theory, we talk about extension of demand and contraction of demand. Extension of demand and contraction of demand will be in response to change in price. That means when the price goes up, I buy less. When the price goes down, I buy more. This is extension and contraction of demand. Then there is another thing called increase and decrease in demand. Increase and decrease in demand are triggered by anything other than change in price. Maybe change in income. When I have more income, I buy more. When I get less income, I buy less. I hope this is very clear. But what is happening is that today's changing pattern of consumer behavior, consumer spending, is actually defeating the tenets the principles of demand theory. If I think that this product, this particular product will save my life, though it is expensive, even if the price of the product goes up, I buy. It is against the tenets of the demand theory. Price goes up and people buy more. And because it's very useful, extremely useful. At any time you can test. But of course, when you buy an equipment like this, please don't test it every minute. And the doctors always say, if you have a blood pressure apparatus, please don't use it once in 2 hours. Don't do that. It's a very bad habit. Occasionally, once in a day, you can do that. So if the price of this product goes up, people buy more because they find it extremely useful. So this is actually happening. The changing pattern of demand, I can cite many examples because of the time factor. I wind up, it's already 9 and 11:32. I think we should ask the participants to ask questions and answer. I think, and let me just end the whole thing with an optimistic claim. When the wind flows, the pessimist will blame the wind. The optimist will change. Optimist will expect a change from the wind for the good. Optimist will say, and the wind will change things and it will be to our advantage. This is the thinking of course, pessimist is an optimist with experience. This is what I always say. Okay. Well, optimist will say the wind will change things and this will be something good for us. And the realist will adjust according to the wind. Realist will adjust according to the wind. As the consumers adjust, producers will also adjust to meet the needs of the new normal in the very near future. Thank you. Okay, maybe now the organizers can come in. Madam Kala, you want to take over, or Madam Tamilselvi?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. This session was very informative and excellent. Dear participants, now the forum is open for discussion. Anybody having queries, kindly raise your hands or post it in the chat box.
I would be happy if one of you could read out what is written in the chat
Okay.
box. Yeah, you can look at that and you can read out. I will try to respond. Yeah.
One question from Alex Raja.
Yeah.
He asked about why our government doesn't support native medicine.
Yeah, because it's in fact it's a wrong statement. It is wrong to say that the government is not supporting native medicine. It is wrong to say, but there are so many fake doctors trying to sell so many products under the pretext of native medicine.
Okay.
That is being controlled. And you know the stories. Many doctors are giving wrong information about wrong products, and it is really spoiling the health of the people. And some are being arrested. But government is actually very strongly supporting Siddha and Ayurveda. This is very clear. And it is important to support because, I know in Sudan, they extract from a rare plant, wild plant. You don't plant, you don't water, you don't manure, it grows in spite of you. It is growing in the desert. In an isolated village, the people discovered that the extract of that plant, extract from the leaf, can heal the open wound of diabetic patient. The market is to the tune of $50 billion. But unfortunately, this research finding is yet to see the light of commercialization. Patent is not registered for want of money and technical assistance, and nobody comes forward to commercialize it. It's a debt investment. For 15 years, this research finding remains as a debt investment. Like that, there are so many research findings based on the traditional knowledge of the villages. I think the government should embark on a very big plan to commercialize these research findings. First, we should take an inventory of all the research findings based on the traditional knowledge of villages, the traditional medical practices and the knowledge of the villages, and try to commercialize that. And for that, you have to get the patents registered and then get firms involved in the investment of these things. So this is a type of support the government should do that. First, we don't have an inventory. We don't have even an inventory of the research findings based on traditional knowledge. If you don't create an inventory, that's the minimum. Then to commercialize that, you try to reduce our distance from the best practice in processing, design, and marketing. And it is the job of the government to render technical assistance and business support services free of cost to enable all the stakeholders to reduce their distance to the frontiers of best practice in using traditional medicine. Any other question?
Sir, one more question from Rachel. Sir, what's your advice based on economic context during this plight?
சார் கொஞ்சம் ஷேர் ஸ்கிரீன் கம்மி பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இருக்கும் சார். ஃபுல் வியூ உங்க
share screen.
க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிருங்க சார்.
I closed it actually.
Yes.
Did I not close it? Is it okay now?
No sir.
No, share screen. What is that? Am I sharing something else? Stop sharing.
Okay, now okay.
Is it okay?
Now sir. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your technical assistance. Very timely and adequate. Okay.
Sir,
could you please repeat the question?
yes. This question from Rachel. So, what's your advice based on economic context during this plight?
Economic context. Am I right? Everything is in a very, very depressed state of affairs. I know the firms are not working in full capacity, and people are not involved in productive activities, and everybody, most of them depend on public distribution system, and everything is very bad. Now, will the economy be revived in the near future? There are so many predictions. Normally, I don't give importance to the predictions made by economists. Hitherto, no major crisis was predicted by any economist, and whatever they predicted after the crisis went wrong. I can systematically prove that. Nobody predicted the Great Depression of 1930s, and nobody predicted the first oil shock. It was, in fact, after the first oil shock, everybody predicted a gloomy picture about the growth prospects for developing countries. In fact, only after the first oil shock, many developing countries emerged as newly industrializing countries, and many countries emerged as emerging economies. So I don't believe in predictions. Hitherto, no economist predicted any major crisis, and whatever they predicted after the crisis did not see the light of reality. So, in the context of this, what I would like to say, I don't want to predict. As someone said, it's better not to predict the future, but to better make the future. You try to make the future for you. Now, things are in a befogged state of affairs, but I am an optimist. I always make optimistic claims about everything. I think economy will definitely recover. We recovered from a series of crises. So many crises happened in the past. Every time we recovered, and in a much better way. Take the example of oil shock. Everybody thought people would not buy oil at all. And at that time, an ordinary Lambretta scooter, which I was using when I was working as a lecturer in a college, covered only 7 liters for 1 liter of petrol. Today, thanks to the technological marvels and the incidence of technical progress, a two-wheeler can cover 70 kilometers for 1 liter of petrol. This is because of oil shock. So from each bad thing, there is always something good. Let us make optimistic claims about it. And I think the economy, the global economy, will recover by mid-2021. This is what many economists predict. By mid-2021, we will be actually entering the era of recovery, and that will be sustained for some years.
One more question from Rajeshwari. Is the time of COVID-19 is giving chance for black market for some items?
Yeah, black marketeers will always thrive, irrespective of whatever is happening, because they are always at it. In fact, the parallel economy. People used to say that the parallel economy is the real economy. They are the one running. The real economy is totally different. Even there was one suggestion at one point. If the government tells everybody that for the next 3 years, they can buy whatever they want to buy, land, properties, car, anything, and the source of income will not be questioned. Next day, the economy will recover. It happened once when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister. India was suffering from acute shortage of foreign exchange. He said, any non-resident Indian can remit money into the savings account of anybody here, and the equivalent or more than equivalent can be remitted into the non-resident ordinary account of the NRI, and the source of income will not be questioned. Within 2 weeks, the foreign exchange crisis was solved. What does it mean? The whole thing is run by parallel economy. Black marketeers, hoarders, smugglers, profiteers, they are the one running this. No, I am just articulating a point with the evidence-based, this one. It is evidence-based response to the question. What happened to the foreign exchange crisis? How did we solve it within 2 weeks? They said, come on, you remit money into the savings account, you remit money into this ordinary, the non-resident ordinary account, and what you remit in terms of local currency into the ordinary account of a non-resident Indian will not be questioned. Source will not be questioned. Within 2 weeks, the foreign exchange crisis was solved. So what does it mean? It is the black marketeers, hoarders, and smugglers are running the show. This is the brutal reality. Unfortunately, the ground reality. What can we do? They will survive. Whether there is COVID or non-COVID, they will continue to do their job. Yeah. There should be some mechanism to correct it. Yeah.
Sir, one more question from Rex. Will this COVID-19 increase a rapid rise of digital commerce?
Of course, this is being increasingly proved. It is being increasingly proved that e-commerce is going to occupy nearly 70% of purchases. This is what people say, according to rough estimate and guesstimate. Yes, the answer is yes. Yeah. There is another question. I think there is a compliment from somebody.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, kindly raise your hands. Sir?
Madam.
Sir, we are going to wind up the program, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I thank the principal and the staff members, Madam Kala and Tamilarasi, especially for the great opportunity. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I thank the participants for the rapt attention and apt response. Thank you. Okay, I can leave now. Okay, or is there a vote of thanks or something like that?
Okay, sir. Now okay. I call upon Dr. Jennifer to deliver the vote of thanks.
First of all, I would like to thank God Almighty for the day and the moment we have. I render my sincere thanks to the principal, Reverend Father Godwin Rufus, who gave us the acceptance for the webinar. His presence today in this webinar has immensely enhanced its importance. I thank you, Father, for your felicitation. I convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi, resource person. Sir, we had a wonderful session with you, and we are all inspired by your words. Thank you once again for your interesting and informative lecture. I acknowledge my sincere thanks to Dr. T. Kala, coordinator of the Consumer Club, for her guidance and encouragement to organize this webinar. Further, I convey my special thanks to Dr. Mabel Jocelyn and ACPR team for their full technical support and encouragement. Thank you, professors. My heartfelt thanks to all the participants, various departments of Anandar College, various universities and college professors from Tamil Nadu and other states in India, and school teachers too. I especially thank the participants from France, Singapore, New Zealand, UK, Qatar, Bahrain, Sri Lanka, and other countries for your support and cooperation. Once again, I thank you one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.